Hey moms, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to give you the QUARAN-TEA.
So you might be wondering, what is the QUARAN-TEA? Well, it's basically us bitching about what's been going on in our lives the last few weeks. It's something that
Somebody's got to listen to us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the people in our houses are over it, and the animals. So, we're just going to kind of have a conversation with you guys, with each other. I mean, we've talked and, we've talked about different things, but we want to talk to you guys because we are definitely not the only ones going through things. In fact, there are probably many of you who are going through even more things than we are. So we just kind of want to open up a line of conversation with you and see what's going on. Give you the tea. Which mine is apple cinnamon cidery type tea. It smells like fall. It's delicious.
It's not fall.
It's not important. Pineapples.
Fall tea with like a summery background.
Look, and my palm tree is on my chair. We're in my dining room today. It's a good time. So, Angel, how is your quarantine?
I haven't talked about the beginning of it too much with many people because I know a lot of people struggled right away. Mm-hmm. I was so happy when this first happened. Not the virus part of it, obviously, but I was so happy to be stuck at home all the time. That has been my lifelong dream. And it's I loved being home with Oliver, and I loved just being able to just kind of be in a place where I was comfortable and happy. And, I was just in general, I was handling it really, really, really well. And then a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden that ended. And there wasn't anything specific that happened or swayed me. All of a sudden I started to feel down for no reason at all. And I was noticing the hygiene stuff wasn't going so well, and I really wasn't eating right, and I wasn't sleeping well, but then I would sleep a lot, in terms of we're very Oliver sleeps in late. And so I would sleep, and it was getting to the point, and some of it to some degree is still the same way, but I was getting to a point where I literally physically could not get out of bed until 11 or 12 o'clock. Yeah. And all of a sudden that just kind of hit me at one time. So I went from loving it, living my best life to oh, this sucks. I don't like this at all. And the truth is, it doesn't have anything to do with not being able to go do things. I could care less about that. But it just, something about just all of it together just became very heavy, kind of really quickly all of a sudden.
Sure. Well, and for me, nothing really changed. I mean, the biggest difference was Mike stayed home to work. So I guess it was more of a change for Aria in the very beginning, having Daddy home all the time, because she's like, oh, you're home, let's play. Why are you on the computer? It's time to play. You're here in the living room with me. We should be playing. And he had to work. And there were a lot of meetings in the beginning as they're trying to figure things out. And he's the IT guy. He has other people on his team, but he's the manager. So he, fixes it all. So that was the biggest adjustment in the beginning. And then I think the same thing happened for me around the same time. Ari and I started to sleep in, and that's not something we do. We usually get up and have our day. I mean, especially when you're bringing Oliver over, we definitely were up, and we were making sure that, we had a full day. And, no, like, we've been getting up at 10, 11 o'clock, and that's weird because she doesn't sleep in like that. We were getting up nursing, and then we would take, like, a short nap, but not, like, to 10 or 11 o'clock. And then she was going to bed late, and tonight is the earliest she's gone to bed in 2 weeks. And part of it is probably because I woke her up at 9:15 this morning so that we could try to, like, come back
Yeah.
to some sort of normal schedule.
Yeah.
And then I also just had, like, a bit of a breakdown about different things. Like, one of my friends is pregnant, and her mom and I were supposed to be throwing a baby shower for her in the next couple of weeks. And we had a virtual baby shower this past weekend for her. And that was, like, a big thing that I didn't even realize how upset I was about it until I started crying in the car. Because not only are those, like, moments that we had planned to share and be able to do something like that for her, but it's also her first baby. And so now she's like been robbed of that experience. And there's other things about, like, having friends that are pregnant right now that are due like in the next couple weeks to the next 2 months. And everything is so different. They're not going to be able to have the same experience that we had of having people visit and people be there if they want to be. They don't have that choice. And I think that hit me, as well as, like, the sleep stuff. It's been weird.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, the events part of it, because, I've seen it kind of go both ways. Some people are being really understanding that people are missing out on things like prom and graduation and first birthdays or first this or that, or, baby showers. Like, there's a lot that people are missing right now. And a lot of it is things that, like, they'll never get to really experience again. So it makes it hard. But there are people who think that those things don't matter. I mean, I definitely didn't care about prom, but that was my personal opinion on prom. I don't know that I would have cared if I couldn't go, but their teenagers were like, that's a really big deal to them. And it was like, and then, it's like, for them, the ones that are, like, going away for college or whatever, or we're going to away for college, they, like, that's like their last hurrah with their friends before everybody, like, splits up. And, like, we did our Easter egg stuff a little early. But it sucks not being able to do it. Like, this was the first year that we did an egg hunt, and I would have loved for it to have been something that was, I loved it. It would have been the same way. It really wouldn't have been any difference. It's just, we did it earlier, and then, like, Easter came up and I didn't even know what was going on.
Right.
And then, like, I went ahead because I wasn't sure how bad things were going to get at the time. I went ahead and sent out invites for Oliver's second birthday, next month and stuff. And, like, it's his second, it's not his first. So I'm not like, but I'm still bummed. Like, I still wanted, like, this was going to be his first birthday in our house. Like, it was going to be, we had plans and we had all these things figured out, and I'd already ordered stuff. And it's just, like, I've seen, like, a couple of, like, funny quarantine, like, first birthday themes where it's like, no one's invited. And I think it's amazing that people are embracing that, because I'm going to be very honest with you. If I couldn't have done what I did for Oliver's first birthday because of this, I would have been devastated.
I also would have been devastated.
It's the first. It's supposed to be, like, this big thing, and then it doesn't matter if people get that or not. It is. It's a big deal. Do you know how many families don't have children that make it to their first birthday? Like, first birthdays are huge. And so that's how I have to explain it to my dad. He doesn't understand it. He thinks first birthdays are silly. But, I mean, that's the reality, is, like, it's important. And so, like, the event side of things has been kind of interesting, just seeing what people are trying to do to still be able to do things. And, like, we will still do something with Oliver for his birthday. But now I don't know when we'll be able to do anything. We'll still do something at some point. I just don't know when that will be.
And maybe just be later in the summer. Which, he is 2. And so he's not going to remember that part.
Oh, no,
so
no,
that
not
helps.
at all.
That certainly helps with it as well. First birthday, it still wouldn't matter. Like, I'd still be devastated if
I would be devastated. First birthdays are for us. They're not for them.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll still be able to do that. But there's other, like my niece, her birthday is April 30th, which here in Georgia, that's technically the last day of our shelter in place for the regular population. The elderly or immunosuppressed, the most at risk, theirs does not end until like May 13th. But like the entire month has been her birthday. They've done all kinds of like celebrations and parties the whole month. Just celebrate her birthday on April 30th because she can't have a party.
That's good.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
they've done
mean,
family
yeah,
things
yeah,
at home. So that's
yeah.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah, we're still gonna do a cake and gifts and stuff, and it'll
right.
just be, it'll just be us or whatever. But
Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely weird. And from Amanda's perspective, I think they were okay with doing the virtual shower.
that's good.
Because they there were more people because I actually hosted it on my Zoom, and on one of them I think there were close to 40 people because there are multiple people in the screens. That's right.
Jesus
Because
Christ.
they did a family one, and then they had one for all their friends. Otherwise, we would have had 100 people.
There would be no reason for me to have to.
I well, but their family and friends live all over the place in different states. So
Yeah,
this, I think it worked out for them. They had a registry, so people were able to mail gifts, and everybody was able to attend basically, where they wouldn't have been able to if it were in person.
yeah,
So that
yeah.
aspect definitely worked out. But
I think the family stuff in general is interesting because, like, my YouTuber that I follow, like hardcore, is announced a little while ago that his father passed away. So
mm-hmm.
he's on like week 2 without his dad. And so
Yeah.
I watched his like update video, and he's talking about like how, he keeps his private life from his YouTube life completely, they're completely
Yeah.
separate, which obviously we could not do. Our content wouldn't exist
No.
if we weren't willing to get personal. But he just has like a very, he doesn't talk about anything. I was actually surprised that he announced that he was engaged, which technically he didn't, she did. But anyway,
Well,
so
but
like,
they play games together, though, right?
that's true. I mean, we knew they were together, but
Right.
like, I mean,
The
they've been together
engagement
for a
part.
really long time. But the engagement stuff, he wasn't like, "Oh, guys, I'm engaged." Like that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And other YouTubers I follow are very open. I have another
mm-hmm.
one that was like posted a sad video. I guess it's just that time of year, and he's like, "Yeah, my husband and first boyfriend ever, we're getting a divorce, and I'm moving to another state." And I'm just like, so it kind of, but anyway, so he was talking about his dad and how like he doesn't, everything that's going on made what he was dealing with even harder because it was so awful. The funeral was hard anyway, but they could only have 10 people, so they had to pick 10 people to go to this funeral, and they all had to stand like 6 feet apart, so everybody's like really spaced out, and it just made it like so much harder on him emotionally to have to deal with a tragedy like that. And it wasn't corona related, like it was a complication with the surgery that he had, so it wasn't related to the virus. But yeah, and he was talking about like just how it impacted him. And as he's talking, he like has this moment where he says, I didn't really talk about my dad, but he was a great dad. He was always supportive. He was this and he was that. And then he goes, and I'm really going to miss him. And then when he got to that point, he like had to take a minute. And, I had this weird moment because I'm like super, super close to my dad. And so the surgery that my dad had was not the same as what his dad went through, but it was similar. And so it just kind of put me in this really weird emotional headspace to where like when we did the video call with my dad that night, I was like in the background in tears because I would I want so badly just to see him to make me feel better. And I can't go see him. Like there is no, like, I can't go hug him. I can't go visit them in Augusta and just spend time seeing him and knowing that he's okay because he's already had his surgery. And I don't think that's something that I really thought about, because I'm so used to it being a while before we go, visit or whatever. So that was kind of a weird reality for me because it was just something I hadn't really thought about, to feel overwhelmed with a feeling like that and not be able to go see the person to make yourself feel better, I guess. It just was kind of bizarre.
Well, and it's also the timing is terrible because I've had things like that with my parents while I've lived here, but you've not had anything like that with either one of your parents since we've lived here or since you've lived here. like in almost 6.5 years that you've lived up here. Like, you haven't had anything like that. So I can't, I know what you, like, I know what it feels like.
Yeah.
But,
well, it's always
like,
weird when there's distance, but it's worse when you literally like can't do anything about it. Because the worst thing I could do is interact with the public and go spend time with my dad who just had like a surgery related to his heart. Like,
right.
I would never do that.
Well,
So
it's like, so my mom has rheumatoid arthritis, and that is an autoimmune disease. So we were supposed to go celebrate my nephew's first birthday the weekend before his birthday.
Oh, right.
The second to last weekend of March, right? And we didn't go because that's when things were started. That's when they had put that's when they decided to do the order for the people who are immunosuppressed. And my sister was real upset, and she was like, "We can't go." Like she messaged me. She's like, "I would feel if something happened." Actually, no, she called me. We talked about it.
Yeah.
And I hadn't thought about it because I just wanted to go see them. And then I was like, "Ooh, yeah, we can't do that." And so I did have that very emotional moment at the beginning, like when I had to tell Mike that, and it hit me after talking to my sister. I was like, well, shit. And then my dad goes out and gets his stupid lottery tickets every day, and it's so frustrating. I'm like, stay home.
I saw a meme on Facebook that's relatable as fuck. It says, "I now know how my parents felt when I was a teenager, always telling me I couldn't go out anywhere." It's like, and then you did it anyway. So like, that's how parents, like, there's so many people who are like, "No, seriously, just please stay where you are." And they're like, "No." And they go do whatever they want. I mean, and I see people like, I see old people all the time, the elderly. I see them out all the time walking around, and some of them don't even have like mask on or anything, and they're passing other runners and kids. I'm just like, ugh.
If anybody needs to wear a mask, even if it just keeps out one droplet, it is them.
Yeah,
like,
sure. I agree.
I went to the Ace Hardware. By the way, if you do need to go to the hardware store during this time and you're like under the quarantine, try to go to a local hardware store or like an Ace Hardware, because they are all independently owned and locally owned. So I went, and one of the pharmacies in one of the suburbs around here is making hand sanitizer. It's good stuff. So I went to the Ace Hardware store to buy it. And then there was a really old, he's like World War II vet. Something was on his car, I guess. He's really old. And he was in there, and I don't think he had a mask on. He had like, he had a bandana. So he was doing something. But, yeah. Like.
Yeah, that's insane. I think it's interesting because it's like, we're all so ready to like reach the state of normal again. And some of us, definitely not me, because the public is ugh, but like there are people who are so ready to have normal again that they're willing to put themselves and their families at risk. And it's like, it's so frustrating because I kind of want normal back. I do and I don't. I want normal for everybody else. I would like to stay like this. But it's just like, one of the things that has come up, like, that I realize now is like, I used to talk about how, oh, I only get like, a couple hours with Oliver a day. And now I'm like, Mom, 100% of the time, while trying to do the filler work I'm being given to do at home to keep my job. And it's like, it's exhausting. And it's exhausting because I'm home with a toddler all day. But it's also exhausting because, like, I'm supposed to be able to do things on the computer, which you cannot do with a toddler, least of all my son. And, and finding time to do that. And then, and it's actually, I think it's even harder when Rick's here. And I say that let me just start with this first. This is not to push my husband out in front of a bus doing 90 miles an hour. However, I think that because he works in EMS and there is nothing different for him, he thinks that me being home sometimes is like a vacation. Like, he doesn't have to do anything or help or, do anything because Mom's home. So, like, have fun, and I did, like, we had to have that conversation of like, this is not vacation. Like, I still have to go into the office every day to do mail. And I still have to be able to do things on my computer. And I still, like, there are times where I have to be able to do those things, and I can't do them if I'm the only person paying attention to our toddler. So, like, we had to have this whole conversation about that. And it's been better, and like, he kind of gets it now and stuff. But it was like, that was one thing that was like, it hit me, because it was like, I mom 100% of the time, and then making my partner understand that, like, it may be fun for you, but like, I'm still trying to juggle the same thing just in our house.
Right. And like, I am probably I don't want to say I'm like guilty of that, but when I started to go through that funk of like not being able to wake up, and it was like I could not wake up.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, I would end up feeling terrible when I would get up afterwards, because sometimes Arya did wake up. A lot of times she did wake up before me, and Mike was working, but she was out here with him because I could not get up. And like, I definitely feel bad about that. So that's definitely something I'm trying to work on again. But as he's trying to work, like, I do not expect him to take care of her. And one of the days, because one of the things that I do now is I work at my chiropractor's office 1 to 2 days a week. They're an essential business, and I do admin work for them. Hour, that's right, because you're a patient now. It's only taken a year. But anyways.
But if it doesn't help, I will never let it go.
It's going to help. Look.
It almost has to, right? Anyway.
Anyways, but Mike has been really awesome about, he does have an afternoon meeting, but on Wednesdays, if the other admin wants to leave early, I'm able to go in, because he can have the time to like take a break before that one meeting to spend some time with her, so that she's, played, and then when it's time for his meeting, he can be in his meeting and she's fine for like a few minutes to watch Frozen 2. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so glad that Frozen 2 is on Disney Plus, and we are not have to play our Blu-ray all the time, because the child will stand at we have the gate around our TV, right? She will stand at that gate and watch almost the entire movie. We don't watch that much TV here, but I let her watch that movie because she loves it. That's the only thing that keeps her attention. You can play anything else on the TV, and she's like, all right, bye. But this movie, she freaking loves it, which is good. It's the one I tried to take her to back in November. She was not ready. But now she loves it.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
I think I'm looking at my notes.
Okay. I just have a rough outline. It's like...
surprisingly enough, I was able to tie almost everything in except for 2 things. So I'm going to talk about those 2 things.
Let's do it.
I think one of the other things that's been kind of a struggle for me is, so office managers in my company have been being furloughed and or laid off, I guess, reduction in force.
Sure.
And so my boss reminds me a lot that could happen to me. So I think like the other thing that's kind of hard is trying to do your best to keep your job, but constantly kind of being told that like it may not matter. And so like job security has been a huge one. And that one I know has affected so many people. And that's, there are so many people that have already lost their jobs. Like I saw something the other day that was like, still having a job is such a, is something to be grateful for. And I commented and I was like, yeah, but being worried that you're going to lose it because of the circumstance just adds way more stress to the situation. So like, it's not just that I should be thankful. It's also really stressful. So like I've had to deal with that a lot because there's just, the type of mail and stuff that I'm getting right now is from the people that they have let go. And then when you see how much it is, you're just like, oh shit. Like,
right.
It's a lot. And then on a more positive note, the last thing that I had for at least for the other thing was that I'd seen this all over social media and heard about it, but I'd never seen it. But it's the bears that people are putting in their windows for the kids that are walking and spending time outside.
It's a bear hunt.
So one of the things, bear hunt. So one of the things that I was trying to do to help myself get out of this funk was every day I would take Oliver for a walk, whether Rick was with me or not. And then Drew was here for a little while to kind of get him out of his house, and he would go with me too. And so so we would go for a walk, and I finally saw bears in our neighborhood, and I was like, well, now I have to do it. So
just a small bear.
That's Imogene. Imogene is like 4 feet tall. 3 feet? 4 feet.
Imogene is 5 feet tall because...
Jesus Christ. 5 feet tall?
Yeah, because Aria has Miss Bear in her room, and that's what we used as her growth chart for the first 12 months.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody asked me how tall it was, so I stood her up, and she's like, I'm 5'4", and she came to here.
Yeah, so Imogene's like 5 feet tall. And so I was like, I'm going to put her in the window. So, and I came in here to do some crafting stuff, and I actually got to see a kid reacting to her, and it was so cute. It was a little girl. Awesome. She's probably like 8 or 9 years old, but she was pumped. She was like pointing at the window and like showing her parents, and I was like, it's a good feeling. And I think overall, like, I've just been kind of like blown away at like content right now, like the stuff that people are doing, and the music parodies and the funny videos and the quarantine workout by, I forget her name, she's hysterical. Like all of it, like it is
Cleary.
So, it's amazing. Yeah, Laura
Cleary.
Laura Cleary.
Cleary.
She is hysterical. I love her and her husband Steven. They are so funny. Oh my
God. And the Holderness family. Oh my gosh.
Hysterical. They are so funny. That one where he said, Daddy got snacks, I about fell on the floor. I was laughing so hard. It's so funny. So definitely check them out. They are hysterical.
They're hysterical.
But yeah, like just the stuff that people are putting out right now is just so uplifting. Like I say stupid because I'm not really thrilled that it's an Apple commercial, but there's an Apple commercial that shows on Hulu that has all of these positive things that are coming out of like right now. And it's like John Krasinski doing some good news, and it's the bears in the windows, and it's,
have you watched
all these things.
Have you watched it? It's good. We cried the first we cry every episode.
Yeah, I like it. It's really good. I love him anyway. It's like it's just so many good positive things are coming out of it. And it's like, I told my mom not that long ago, and I probably said this to everybody, but it's like, can you imagine where we would be if people were as good to each other all the time as they are in times of crisis?
They won't be, though.
I know. No, we'll go back. I saw a meme that said, I hope that when this is all over, we'll remember that. No, we're not. We're going to go back to being the selfish assholes that we were before. It's not going to change anything. Not me.
I was going to say, not us. We don't suck. But plenty of people, I mean, it's unfortunate. Like, you feel like, but I mean, we went through 9/11. We've gone through other terrorist things. We've gone through hurricanes that have flattened city. I mean, like tornadoes. Like people are always so quick to, thoughts and prayers, or actually going out and helping too when those happen, but then it dissipates and then we're back to normal life like it never happened, and that sucks. And even something like this is 9/11 was a big deal, and Katrina was a big deal, and all that stuff are big deals. I mean, they're life-changing events, but this is global. It's the entire world. And while a lot of people are out there supporting each other, you still have those people calling it the Chinese virus, which it's not. It's not the name of it. Or people who are hurting other people because of their ethnicity, because of this virus. I'm like, why? It's not their fault. This should be a time where we are all coming together and being there for each other.
Not coming together, but like coming together.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like coming together like this.
What's that quote that I told you? It's like, we're separately in this. What? Oh, I can't look because I'm on my phone. It was that quote I told you. I can't remember, but it's something like being together at a distance, or standing together at a distance, or something like that.
Something like that. Standing together at a distance.
That sounds close.
Yeah. But I mean, it would be nice for everybody to support each other and be kind and all that stuff when this is over, but slowly it will return back to the old normal. Like, it'll be a new normal, because there have got to be things that are probably going to happen that change the new normal.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
well, and I think there are some people who really will be impacted by this, and it really will change the way they treat people, or the way that, it's just unfortunate that that's going to be like in the minority. It's not going to be like a bunch of people. I mean, if people are still being assholes during it, of course people are going to go back to being that way after the fact.
Yeah. Also, just a little PSA. Please follow the guidelines that are given to you by health professionals and like the CDC and people like that. Do not drink bleach. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Follow the professional advice from the subject matter experts at this time. That's my piece on that. It's my tea. You do know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, funnily enough, we actually finished Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And it didn't take us very long for how many episodes are, but there's an episode, the last episode we watched, or the last, whatever, close to last episode, Charlie gets poisoned, and he goes, well, I knew you were going to try to poison me, so I drank bleach because it cancels it out. And she's like, no, it doesn't.
My God.
She's like, no, it doesn't. Not. She's like, it makes it more poisonous.
Yes.
And he goes, no, it cancels it out. And she goes, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It's a different type of poison. Oh, on that note, let us know what you think about this video. Like it, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon so you know when we post another video. If you like this, let us know if you'd be interested in seeing us talk to other people. Maybe some dads, some single parents, some some people who aren't able to work from home and still have to go in every day. Let us know what you think, and if you want to see some conversations like that in May, because we're going to be doing this again in May. It's going to be May or June.
Or June or July. Maybe August.
Oh, do you want to drink some wine? Family. Yes, it is.
Hardness.
Holderness.
I always want to make it hard. That's it. Holderness family.
Holderness family.
Tomato.
I love their parodies.
They are hysterical.
They are. Oh, and follow us on social media at Momestly on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Angel, and I'm going to do it soon, is reading bedtime stories that we're posting every couple of days on IGTV. And we've also started the Quarantine Chronicles. Kicked that off with a nice bourbon tasting. It was much more fun for my husband than it was for me. But yeah, so make sure you follow us. Let us know what you think. Comment down below. And I think that's it. We will see you next time. Bye, moms.